Heather, I just tried to take you off and put you back on again. Are you able to access it now? Sorry, everyone. I'm not sure what's going on here. Hold on one second.
Oh, yay. I think I'm finally here. Mike, can you tell me if you can hear me and see me?
Yes, we can see you now.
Sorry about that, everyone. I'm not sure what was happening. I had to reload a few times. Okay. I think now I'm unable to share. What is going on here? Sorry, everybody. I'm not able to share a PowerPoint, Mike. I'm not sure why.
If you don't mind, Heather, just drop it in the chat for us, and then we can share it for you.
Okay, stand by. $75% there.
I've got it, Heather. I'll open it up and get sharing in just a moment.
Super. Thank you so much. Chrome is not my friend today. Thank you, everybody, for your patience. I really appreciate it. And so sorry for the delay. Welcome again to another day of OCB. My name is Heather Benway. I'm a senior research specialist at Woods Hole Oceanographic Institution and the executive officer of the Ocean Carbon and Biogeochemistry Project Office. I'm an oceanographer with interests in carbon, climate science, and marine biogeochemistry. For those of you who are less familiar, I'm especially happy you're here, and OCB is really a bottom-up program, meaning that the leadership and activities of OCB are shaped by its community through an open process, through open leadership nominations and open processes, a proposal process that happens every year for activities, OCB activities. Change slides, please, Mike. Next slide. Can you hear me? Ah, there was one more before that. I just really wanted to share this because this made my day yesterday. In the New York Times, this article, Biden signs the law making Juneteenth a federal holiday, which was actually is today. My husband is a federal employee and has the day off. I'm so sorry I could not have anticipated this 3 months ago when we were setting dates for this meeting, but I could understand low attendance today. but I'm just really excited about this. It's 158 years in the making, so I'm just glad that we're there. Mike, you can go ahead and next slide. So I just want to thank our sponsors. The Ocean Carbon and Biogeochemistry Project Office has had sponsorship from NSF, Biological and Chemical Oceanography, NASA Ocean Biology and Biogeochemistry programs since its inception in 2006, and they've continued to fund this project office. I want to thank our physical host for the project office, which is Woods Hole Oceanographic. I want to thank our event hosts from ePoster Boards, with a big shout out especially to Mike Elliott and Chase and Catherine and Taylor, who was working with us before, for setting this meeting up. I want to thank the Scientific Steering Committee, who helps put these sessions together every year. They work with both SSC and non-SSC chairs to put these together. I want to thank our speakers for the fabulous talks that you've been watching online. And I want to thank the staff in the project office who I work with. It's a fantastic team, May Mahegan and Mary Zawoski, whose names you're probably seeing a lot throughout this, and getting to visit them at the OCB desk and learn more about the program. And I want to thank you for coming. I don't have a lot of time to go into OCB today, but you can certainly learn more about the program and the activities that we provide for the community on our website, which is listed there. You can follow us on Twitter. There's a lot of information shared with our community that way as well. Next slide, please. I like to start our meetings with a land acknowledgement. And so I'm going to, it looks like this is a little bit, yeah, that's okay. This workshop was planned while working on the ancestral lands of the Wampanoag Nation, made up of Mashpee, Aquinnah, and Herring Pond tribes. We honor and respect the many diverse Indigenous peoples still connected to this land and the lands of our participants. I hope that you're all having a land acknowledgement now for wherever you are in this world tuning in today. We acknowledge the painful history of genocide and the substantial traditional and local knowledge that Indigenous people hold and sustain. Next slide, please. This is just a quick glimpse. It's really, I don't need to sit and read this to you, but please pay attention to our code of conduct. That's what the orange button on the navigation bar is for. There's an incident reporting form. If you deem that any behavior is inappropriate, you are harassed, bullied, or you witness that, please report that to us. Anything coming into that form will be seen by the project staff only. That's Mary, May, and myself. Or you can just report it directly to the email address below, which also goes directly to us. The reporting form is anonymous, by the way. Next slide, please. This virtual meeting space is really amazing, and for the power that it holds, it comes with technical glitches. So please be patient. This is brand new, and we as a community have developed this collective capacity over the past year of a global pandemic. And so it's pretty amazing what this platform can do. And a lot of times, if you're having trouble, just refresh your browser. It'll kick you out and put you right back in where you were before. I highly recommend, if this is your first day at the meeting, to just take a quick peek at the OCB 2021 welcome video, which really goes into the specifics of our meeting spaces and how to navigate between them, and just learning all the basics, setting up your profile, putting a little tagline in your profile so people can say, hey, I'm looking for a job, or I'm looking for a postdoc, or my institution is hiring. Make this networking work for you. You can go up and down. There are 8 floors to the space, so that's what the elevator is for on the left side. When you see these big green buttons, those are all of our meeting spaces. So you navigate to those for different events, and you can tell in the agenda where you're going. It will tell you where to go. You're all coming into the lobby each day. We'll have happy hours in the lobby. There's informal interaction. You'll notice they're all different size interaction spaces, like big couches, little tables for 2. So there's a variety of ways to interact with your colleagues. So it's a great place to set up a meeting. There's also a little park it table at the bottom center where you can just go and tune out for a little bit if you need to check email between sessions. The plenary sessions are all happening in the breakout rooms. So You'll see that they're set up with small group discussion tables, and that's how we really wanted this meeting to be structured, to let people watch the plenary talks in advance and then focus this time together on small group interaction. So that's what those are for. You will also notice whiteboards at your table, which is where you can take notes and draw and doodle and whatever brainstorming you'd like to do. The lecture hall is for more formal report outs. The poster hall is pretty self-explanatory. We are having interactive sessions. There are 2 more of those, one today, one on Tuesday. And I want to also point you to these resources on the right. There's a poster gallery site where you can view all the posters for the workshop on your own time too. And most of them have a little narrative that walks you through the poster. So if you want to view that in advance and then go to the interactive session to talk to the authors, you can do that. And there's a poster directory which tells you who's presenting what day and where. The posters, we're only doing about 20 per session, so we have enough time for people to get around. And those are out on the first 2 floors. So those 20 posters are spread across floors 1 and 2 of the poster area. There's also a networking directory. You can't see that here today, but there's a networking area. And there's a networking directory that tells you where you can find different topical tables in the networking space. Most of you who've tuned in already have been in the networking space. That's really for informal interaction and discussion. You can talk to agency managers. There's an early career floor on floor 8. There's a JEDI floor, Justice, Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion on the first floor with lots of JEDI topics. There's pretty much science topics, life stuff, anything you can think of, we've tried to put it there. So, and if you have an idea and you want to get people to come to your table and you want to label it something, just let us know and we'll add a label to the table. The 5th floor is actually all blank tables. So it's a blank slate for you. I think that's it. Oh, I just want to point out, so today's agenda will be a pop-up for you. So if you click on that, it'll just pop up today's agenda so you can browse it real quick and know what's going on for the day. You can see our full agenda on our workshop website. So there's another blue tab for that. So you can go to the website to get more details. Any of these white spaces up here are e-poster boards tutorials. So those are really fabulous. And anything that you click on either opens it as a pop-up or in a new window. So you're not going to get kicked out of the platform. Next slide, please. Just for the lineup for today, we're going to start with a plenary session for Network for Ocean Worlds. That's occurring right here in this breakout room. And I'll be introducing our chair, Laura Lorenzoni, shortly. Then after this session is over, we will give this a full 2 hours. So I realize we had a little bit of a delay. So we might eat into our break a little bit, but we will give this a full 2 hours. We'll have a quick break in the lobby, and then we'll head to poster sessions. And then we'll have an OCB activity highlight. This is a new working group on mixotrophs and mixotrophy. That's happening here in the breakout room as well. There'll be some small group discussion associated with that. And there was also a pre-recorded talk that I hope you've all had a chance to look at. And finally, at the end of the day, we're going to wrap up with, for students and postdocs and anyone who I've asked to be a panelist, we're going to be meeting here in the breakout room for the Ocean Careers and Funding reception. I hope to have good attendance at this. We have a lot of a broad spectrum of ocean careers that will be represented, as well as agency program managers to talk about securing funding for your research. So that will be a really nice opportunity for students and postdocs. And anybody who is not involved in that reception is invited to go to the lobby for a happy hour, which is informal, fun, bring your pets, bring your kids, do whatever you need to do. And I think that wraps it up for me, Mike. Do I have any more? Nope, we're on to Mike now. Sorry for the difficulties, folks.
All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome. We're excited to be your hosts in this virtual conference software. There's a little bit of a learning curve with the software compared to typical Zoom or Teams meetings, so we wanted you to know how you can find us for tech support and tech help, and we'd like to ask for patience and grace as everyone learns how to use this new software platform, since many of you are first-time guests and presenters. So sorry to those of you who are listening to some of this content again from attending a prior session. In the interest of saving time, I'll get through this all as quickly as I possibly can. So right now we are in what we call stage presentation mode, and we're in the breakout room event space. The stage presentation takes over everyone's screen so that we all see what's on stage regardless of what table we're at the room. If you're not a speaker, you can interact via the chat or Q&A panel at the right side of your screen. You can enter things in the Q&A anonymously, and you can click items in the Q&A to upvote questions or comments you'd like to see featured or addressed by the speakers. Today, Heather mentioned the program split between several event spaces, and each event space has its own function. Just keep your eyes peeled for announcements that are going to direct you to the different event spaces where activities will be taking place. For the upcoming session, as Heather mentioned, we're going to stay here in stage mode, and we'll bring up some speakers for you to see on stage. And then we're going to return you back to the map mode. When we return you back to the map mode, you're going to find yourself at a table with others. You'll see icons filling seats on the map. Each icon represents a person, and each table is intentionally limited to the number of visible seats. You can move to a new table just simply by double-clicking on any table that has an open seat. During the sessions today, except for when we're on stage as we are now, keep in mind you can control your camera and microphone via a control panel at the bottom of your screen. We certainly encourage everyone to be an active participant, have cameras and microphones on. Consider muting your microphone temporarily if you hear any audio feedback. And then definitely headphones are your friend if it comes to presenting any audio, or preventing, I should say, any audio feedback that you hear. So know that you're never stuck where you are in the software unless we're in stage presentation mode. We've put a link to the top of the lobby at the top of the general chat. In this space, you can always return to the lobby, and everything else is accessible from the lobby. We encourage you to move around in general, have great conversations, meet as many people as you can, and then during the poster session later today, as Heather mentioned, it'll be split up between two floors. Each presenter will be set up at a particular station. You'll see that their station is labeled with their name. We have a button where you can see the poster directory, as Heather mentioned, so definitely load that up to see which presenters are where and going on which days. And we only have about 45 minutes in that space, so just make sure that you get through as many people as you can, visit lots of stations, ask lots of questions, and be an active participant. Again, turn your camera and microphone on during the poster session. We wanted to let you know that you can find everyone's poster in the whiteboard at their station. Some poster presenters may screen share their poster live as well. You can simply click on it, but you can always find their poster in the whiteboard at their station. There are a couple of new features with the whiteboard that we want to quickly point out. When you do open the whiteboard, you'll see in the upper right corner, there's a bunch of colored icons that you can click on. If you click on the presenter's icon, you'll be able to follow them, and then that will copy their view as you're seeing it, or as they're navigating through the whiteboard. You can also bring someone to you. When you click Bring to Me on a person's colored icon, again in the upper right corner of the whiteboard, it will cause that person's view to copy what you're currently seeing, which is a very helpful feature for both posters and the breakout whiteboard activities. So really quickly, wanted to talk about the chat feature. The general chat addresses everyone who's in the room. The table chat addresses everyone who's currently at the table with you. And then you can use the chat to search for individuals to send private messages. Just please note that although the private chat messages can go across floors and tables, they cannot go across rooms. So if you're in the lobby and you send a chat message to someone who's in the breakout room, that person will not see the message until they return to the lobby where you sent it. Throughout the event and all of the active event spaces, you'll be able to find ePoster board staff if you need help. If you connect to any space labeled Help Desk, we should be there to help you. If you're having trouble finding us on the upper floors, come down to the first floor and check that Help Desk. And you can also double click to join us wherever we are. You'll see a little yellow star on our icons in the map view, and you can message us via the participants list or the chat when we're here on stage. One last comment, which is super important, Heather mentioned this as well. Refreshing your browser will kick you out temporarily and bring you back in automatically without having to log in. Refreshing the page will resolve the vast majority of technical hiccups with the software. And so, for example, if your camera or microphone won't activate, if you suddenly can't hear or see the stage presentation, if the software won't allow you to move, just try a quick browser refresh or even multiple, and you'll likely find that that resolves the issue. So I've covered a lot of information here, and just in case you didn't catch all that, I want to remind you there's a video in the upper left corner of all of the maps. You can play that at any time, return to it whenever it's convenient for you. So have fun. Please don't hesitate to find us if you have any tech support needs. And with that, we're going to bring up our speaker for the next session. So thanks for your attention. And Laura, hopefully you're able to activate camera, microphone, and come join us on stage.
Never underestimate me, but I think I made it. Yay. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, well, thank you, and welcome everybody. It is our absolute pleasure that you've decided to spend your Friday lunchtime with us. And first of all, I want to thank Heather and May and everybody that made this meeting possible, because it is a challenge to put OCB together on a regular basis. This has just been a Herculean effort on their side, and everybody else that really put their heart and soul into putting OCB virtual together this year. So my sincerest thanks and congratulations, because I think it's going really, really well. And I actually have a presentation. Can we pull that one up, please?
That I sent it to Mike because I'm having some trouble. I can't share today. I don't know why.
Awesome. Yeah, I see it. Yay! Thank you. And Mike, you're absolutely fabulous. Thank you. I think you've helped everybody with their technical challenges, and so we're really, really, really grateful. So the next few minutes, I'll go over the big question that everybody has probably, like, why are we here? Well, that's a philosophical question which we're not going to get into without the proper drinks. But why are we here in the next, and what are we going to do in the next couple of hours? But the presentation that I'm going to give, it's on behalf of all my co-chairs who are listed there. But in particular, I want to thank Ashley Kleinman, she's been absolutely fantastic. She came to intern with us at headquarters last summer. And she's really made the Ocean World's research her own. And without her, we simply wouldn't be here. So my deepest thanks to her. And my thanks to my co-chairs as well that have really helped us put this session together. So back to the question, why are we here talking about ocean worlds? Well, frankly, ocean worlds are cool. That's just the simple truth. And it's absolutely fascinating to think about what could be in oceans elsewhere, or what oceans could be like under different forcing conditions. And so it is something that has captured our imagination, and it's just fascinating to think of the different possibilities and tie that back into our own world, how our own ocean has evolved. And where our own ocean is going, and it is a resource that we depend on it. So it certainly is a critical question that we ask ourselves regularly. So this session in particular tries and aims to bring together cross-divisional conversations between scientists that are studying our ocean on Earth and scientists that are studying oceans in other parts of our solar system. We really would like to walk away from here today having identified other areas of collaboration and mutual interest, because expanding these collaborations across scientists that study oceans across our solar system could be really beneficial for both disciplines. And leveraging on oceanographers on Earth really provides access to the many, many years of research that have been accomplished in our ocean, which can then be applied to ocean worlds across the solar systems and beyond. And it is pretty clear that comparative oceanography, using our Earth as an analog for understanding ocean worlds, is fundamental. But it is also true that looking at our Earth through the optics of ocean worlds may really help us better understand our ocean, where our life began and where we're going. The development of technologies to map and explore ocean worlds is something that can then be applied back on Earth. And likewise, we are using our own, not yet, we're still in the title slide. I'm sorry, it's taking me a lot longer than to get through. Actually, let's skip to the next slide. That is fine, yes, because that's a pretty picture. So it's fine, thank you. And so it really is in our best interest to really try to bring together those two communities so that we can not just further exploration of our own ocean world, but also explore our oceans across the solar system. So ocean world research, including our own ocean worlds, is really going to require a shared vision across disciplines so that we can leverage the knowledge that both areas have, their perspective and their foresight. So let's go to the next slide. Yep, went before. Yep, thank you. Okay, so our session had 5 topics where they were kind of put on the website and the agenda, and so hopefully you're familiarized yourself with them. We had some absolutely amazing keynote speakers that provided us some context about these 5 areas, and these were, ocean world working. So what do we know about Earth's ocean, and how does that apply to oceans in other parts of our solar system? So for example, what kind of information do we have about processes that occur in our own world? For example, interfaces that are so critical for life, and how does that apply? Is it even applicable to other ocean worlds? Another topic was biogeochemistry of ocean worlds. So what kind of biogeochemical processes would we expect in ocean worlds, and how does that relate to Earth, and how do things on Earth may relate to other ocean worlds in completely different conditions that we can't sometimes even really grasp. Analogs, a big one, as I mentioned. So what kind of research can we do? How closely do we think, for example, frozen lakes in Antarctica are to oceans across the solar system? What have we learned about the implications of search for life on other planets? And how does that relate with what do we know about life as it evolved on Earth? Technology is a huge one because exploring both our ocean and oceans across the solar system really requires us to push the boundaries of what we have technologically available. And it really is opening up the possibilities of thinking what new technology is needed to explore ocean worlds, and how can the improved power, for example, that we're going to put into some of those spacecrafts or sensors be translated back to Earth. And as everybody that studies the ocean, you all know that the ocean is pretty hostile. And so the technologies that we are developing nowadays to study the deep ocean, it's certainly quite robust and challenge what we are able to build that can then be translated into the hostile environment of space. And our last topic, which is by no means the least, was life detection. So basically the question that we were posing was, well, how can we detect life signatures in other worlds? Are we looking for the right biosignatures? And again, I encourage you to look at the talks, because some of them are pretty inspirational, and they pose some questions that are really challenging what we know about life on Earth, and how do we translate that to the search for life elsewhere. Next slide, please. Okay, so we didn't come up with this in a vacuum. Collaborations across Earth-ocean scientists, and scientists that are looking at extraterrestrial oceans is something that has been identified as an area of opportunity. So we really wanted to capitalize on this because it's something that is really going to push forward how we understand our own ocean and oceans across the solar system. So in December of 2019, a group of oceanographers from across the solar system, and I'm throwing our Earth in there, came together to identify those areas of opportunities. Then they subsequently put pen to paper or fingers to keyboard and drafted what we have now, which is a white paper that's called Oceans Across the Solar System. The first draft was just published last week. You have a link in the landing page of our session. So I'm hoping you were able to take a peek at it, because we need more eyes on it. The group that came together did an amazing work in pulling ideas and synthesizing what came out of that workshop, and condensing all that into 5 to 6 pages, which was the kind of the space limit that we gave them, because this is a white paper. We don't need this. We don't want this to be super long. But it is our concept, is how we viewed this. So we are hoping that this white paper eventually will become a roadmap to help us identify areas of investment and areas of collaboration across oceanographers with different focuses. So we really would welcome comments. We are going to open the paper for community input coming this Monday. We're just finalizing the form of how you can submit your comments. And so we're really hoping to have more people look at this and let us know, what did we miss? Is there something that we should expand on? Are there different areas that we haven't considered of collaboration So really, this has to be a community effort. So we're really looking to have that input. So once the link to the comments form is ready, we're going to make sure to send that out broadly, including the OCB website. And we really look forward to receiving feedback. Now, we're also hoping to take some of the discussions from this session and see how those translate to the white paper to definitely improve it. This is something that is really going to hopefully guide our research from the coming years. Next slide, please. Okay, so why are we here again? So we had some, again, amazing and thought-provoking plenaries that should have inspired you to think about ocean world research and interconnections across our oceanographers that study Earth oceans and those that study oceans across the solar system. I am sure you have a ton of questions that came from those plenaries, and especially how to take our exploration of ocean worlds across the solar system forward, and how does that also come back and tie back to Earth. So just like you, there are probably another 5 to 10 scientists that have the same questions or are thinking along the same lines as you are. So what we would like to do is break into groups now to talk about those cool questions that you may have come up with, and hoping that you will also come up with particular questions that have to do with the broader concept of research of ocean worlds, including our own Earth. We have an absolutely incredible set of panelists. We unfortunately don't have time to introduce all of them because we are ridiculously fortunate to have a good dozen of them here, and those include some of our speakers and our chairs, and so they're going to serve as panelists. We've asked them all to give us a short bio. You can find their bio in our landing page of the Ocean World session, so we encourage you to take a peek at that so you know kind of who is who if there's someone that you don't know. And you will recognize, if you are from the Earth Ocean community, you probably recognize the names, but you might not recognize those that come from the oceans across the solar system community. And so this is an opportunity to network. It's not just having a fun discussion, but it's also meeting another oceanographer that is doing probably the same thing that you are, just a different moon. So it's actually kind of cool. So we're going to go to our breakouts. You're going to have, with the number of participants that we have plenty of tables. We're going to have at least one of our panelists sitting at each table, and we can always combine tables if there's just a couple of people in a table. The tables are going to be labeled based on, and I'm actually getting a little bit ahead of myself. So we can go back, we can go to the next slide, because I think that's where yeah, there we go. So the tables are labeled based on our topics that we just mentioned a couple of slides before. There's also going to be a table, a rogue table. That is a table for anyone that feels that there is something that we missed and we need to discuss that. And so you're free to sit at that table and talk about anything else related to ocean worlds that you don't think fits in any of the other 5 topics that we talked about. After we are done with our discussion, and we only have about probably 40 minutes at the most, we're going to come back and we're going to have another plenary by Michael New. He is a Deputy Associate Administrator for Research within NASA's Science Mission Directorate. And he's going to talk to us a little bit about this collaborative research across oceanographers and what it takes to turn science into a mission that goes to ocean worlds. Okay, so a little bit of additional notes for the breakout. So you will have a panelist sitting with you. This is your opportunity to also ask those panelists the questions. So these can be, if it is a plenary speaker, you can ask them about their talk. If it is one of our co-chairs, they probably know pretty much everything there is to know about everything, so you can just ask them anything you want. I'm sure they'll have an answer. And it's really an opportunity to get to know the community around you. The whiteboards, if you've already done breakouts, you're familiar with the whiteboards. If you haven't, you'll see them. They have been preloaded with text boxes, so you can add your name and your contact information, and then you can also, add the discussions. They have been preloaded with some teaser questions, but really we're hoping to get your own questions, because how fun is it that I asked the question that I came up with to myself? That's not really exciting. And so we're really hoping to get your out of the box questions and out of this world questions, maybe I should say. So really think broad, think bold, really think, crazy. that's what we really need. We need those crazy, absolutely fantastic ideas. We would like the moderator or rapporteur to be an early career scientist. So as you go around and introduce who's at your table, let's try to identify an early career scientist, because that person's going to be the one that's going to be synthesizing the breakout discussion questions and then entering them in the Q&A on behalf of the group. So again, we have about 40 minutes, and I think we can go to the next slide. There we go. To do this activity, please feel free to gravitate into other tables if you have multiple interests. Don't feel like you're boxed in to your own kind of table that you picked at the beginning. I think this is a conversation that I wish we could have in an open room with everybody kind of just throwing wild questions and ideas out, because then you're going to get those questions that you're brainstorming now, and those new topics we're going to bring them back to the panel, and the panel's going to have to answer them. So they're going to be in the hot seat. Above all, please have fun. This is an opportunity to meet new people, folks that perhaps you don't work with on a regular basis, and to really think about a topic that might not be the thing that you do on an everyday basis. So it's about enjoying the time that you have in the discussion. And that is it for me. Thank you.